This is Stacey McKibben with the Master Communicator podcast, where CEOs, senior leaders, and C-suite executives share their advice. It's 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best leaders know how to share their ideas concisely and quickly. Let's jump right in. Question number 1. In a few sentences, tell me who you are and what you do.
Hi, so I'm Nirvana Farahdi. I have been the Global Head of Financial Services RegTech at Hitachi Vantara for the past few years. I lead the business there for their regulatory technology. I've been in the industry 20 plus years in financial services, working in all sectors and aspects of financial services products and instruments, working with industry working groups, regulators, helping write legislations. So pretty much chief cook and bottle washer.
So then we got a lot to learn from you. I'm pretty excited about that. You'll have quite a bit of experience to pull on. So I'll be excited to hear your thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Question 2. What's the best thing about leading people from your perspective?
Oh, gosh. So I think from my point of view, as a leader, I think you got to realize that every individual and everyone on your team is a unique individual. So it's really important for me to kind of try and spot those qualities and skill sets and be able to figure out where to best utilize them and bring out the best in them. And I really enjoy doing that because I think it encourages them to broaden their skills and really readies them to go outside of their comfort zone. And I find it individually rewarding for myself and for the individual and of course for the business.
Dare I say, does that sound like a win-win?
All right.
Right? It's a win for everybody. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Question 3. I often hear from other leaders that business would be great if it weren't for that pesky people part. I'm curious, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, in my opinion, that's codswallop. It's just going back to what I said. It's the people that really make the business. It's the bureaucracy and I guess the red tape that really hinders businesses. So as a leader, going back to my point before, I think, every member of your team is unique as an individual and they have their innate talents and qualities. And, once you can cut through the red tape for them and I guess ease the internal processes and not box everything in, reduce stress and uncertainty and really give your employees a space where they have a sense of security, ease, and an environment that they feel like they can thrive and be rewarded in. Ultimately, it's going to enable them to perform better, be more creative, be more collaborative, and really bring out their full potential. And I'm a true believer in that.
Amazing. Yeah, often I used to joke that as leaders, it was our job to be on the excuse removal team, the ERT, right? It's our job to eradicate boulder, right? I think it kind of aligns with your bureaucracy and cutting through the red tape. It's like, let's just cut through all of it and get to the heart of what we need to do.
Yeah, and especially, with the environment as it is right now, with what we're being impacted with COVID, etc. I mean, environments need to be different. There's already so much stress on people as it is, their personal lives. And you need to take account of that people are not just a number or a resource. They're real human beings with real issues. And, you need to be able to, in order for your business to thrive, they need to be able to be given that space to do so.
Absolutely. Question 4, what other successful business leaders like yourself should be on the podcast?
Gosh, honestly, over the years, I've been so fortunate to have worked with so many people in the industry that I know and respect greatly. Top of my mind, I guess, one lady that comes to mind, and probably because I read one of her posts recently, is Pamela Pex-Crichton. She is the CEO of Pendo Systems. It's a RegTech company, and I think she is so insightful, someone I've admired for many years. So she's definitely one. David Bundy, he's one of the thought leaders in the RegTech space, a very good friend of mine. He's with PwC, is another one. And I guess one individual that I've had the privilege of working closely with over the past few years is Dan Knight. We worked together at Hitachi, and he's not just been a colleague to me, but also someone I respect highly, so and find very insightful, and is a dear friend.
That's amazing. Well, we'll definitely have to look them up and see about having them on the show. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, question 5, what piece of advice about communication would you give to other leaders?
Right. So communication, it has to be constant, I think, in my view. Especially in uncertain times, uncertainty, as a leader, you're going to have a viewpoint around the entirety of the business and what needs to happen, whereas certain people on your team are not going to have that exposure. So you need to make sure that you communicate, especially, again, going back to this environment where we are, where people are not physically in offices, they are not physically, going to bump into somebody by the water cooler or what have you to be able to get that insight. So keeping communication, weekly meetings for sure, touch base, touch points. But yeah, communication, just say it as it is. And if they don't get it, try again, try different methods, because, there have been people that I've worked with on my teams that, they don't get it the first time, but, you have to persevere and be patient with them, because some people, it takes them a while to get their understanding to that level. So you kind of have to meet in the middle.
I love that. Again, repetition's the mother of all learning, right? I think, again, it's that which really helps us to not only learn it, but truly understand it at deeper levels where we can apply it more specifically and effectively.
Yeah.
All right, magic question number 6. Tell us about your favorite boss or teacher. Who's really influenced you?
Well, again, I've been quite fortunate to have some really good mentors. But I guess one of my first bosses in the industry was somebody who I respect a lot. He was a very good mentor of mine. And the first thing he said to me was, "There's no such thing as a stupid question." And that really stuck with me, because sometimes, you're kind of like, if I ask this question, I'm going to sound stupid. But it stuck with me, and it was something that I use with my teams. If you don't understand it, come to me, and really, I'll try and explain it best as I can and go over it again. Back to the repetition is the mother of all learning. So that really meant a lot to me, and I've helped that with me throughout my career in dealing with people. And I had a teacher who is, again, very dear to me, and one of the things he taught me was, he was always very good at, whereas people, your parents or what have you, they'll tell you, don't do this or don't do that. And, there's really no explanation behind it. And you're just like, well, why shouldn't I? His method with me was different, because I was very hard-headed. You can ask my parents that. So I wouldn't listen unless I did it myself. I had to experience it. But his method with me was pointing out, well, if you do it this way, this happens. If you do it that way, this happens. So figure out what feels right for you. And, the best thing he ever said to me was, I want you to be wise. I want you to make your decisions. And, that, again, has been something that's been with me from a very early age. And I'm very grateful for that.
So empowering that he would, really want to put you in the driver's seat that way,
Yeah. And I think it really helped me to kind of make my own decisions, and really not blame circumstances and other things, because I would come back to myself and say, well, you thought about it, and it was your decision at the end of the day, so that kind of has really helped me through life.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been such a pleasure to get to know you and to hear your ideas. Never mind, listen to that accent for 10 minutes. That's beautiful. If people want to reach out, I know, right? If people want to reach out and find you, where should they go?
Well, they can go to my website, which is nirvanafarahdi.com.
That's great. Well, definitely appreciate it. Thank you again so much for your time today. This is Stacey McKibben with the Master Communicator Podcast. For more ideas and insights, please do go check us out at www.concilioteam.com. We look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care.